Hi, this is Anil from Learning Lab with a video tutorial on C programming. So in this tutorial we're gonna see some functions which are used to exit your program manually. So first we're gonna see the atexit function, which is used to register a function which has to be called before terminating the program. Then the exit function, which is used to normally terminate the program by flushing out the files, etc., etc. And underscore exit function, which is used to just exit the program, no flushing the files, etc., etc. So I'm explaining all the things while using these functions. So in this tutorial we're gonna see the syntax of these three functions, and also what they do, and also how we can use them in our programs. So first we're gonna see this atexit function. So this atexit function causes the function pointed by this func here to be called upon normal program termination. So for every normal program termination, the function registered through this atexit function will be called, and this atexit function is going to return a value of 0 if this function specified here has been successfully registered as a termination function. If the return value is a non-zero value, then it's going to mean that this atexit function has failed to register the function specified here as the termination function, or the function to be called while the normal termination of the program. Okay, now we're gonna see the exit function. So this exit function causes the immediate normal termination of a program. So this means that the termination functions registered by this atexit functions will be called, and also if any open files are, then they are flushed and closed. And to this exit function we need to pass a value which will be passed to the calling process of this program, which is normally the operating system. Here, if this value is 0 or exit success, then it's gonna mean that this program has terminated successfully, or normally this program has terminated. And if it is exit failure or any non-zero value, then it's gonna mean that some implementation defined errors has occurred in this program. And the last function in this tutorial is this underscore exit function. So this underscore exit function is similar to this exit function, which causes the termination of the program, but if you use this underscore exit function, then any termination functions registered through this atexit function will not be called. And also if you have any signal handlers in your program, then they will not be called. And if you guys have any open files in the program, then it may or may not be flushed or closed. Okay, now we're gonna see how we can use these functions in our program. So just to demonstrate that, first I'm gonna create a function, and I'm gonna register that function as the termination function. So I'm gonna create that function before the main function, and I'm gonna call it as void, let's say, on exit. So this on exit function will be registered as the termination function using the atexit, and it will be called upon every normal termination of the program. So we're gonna just print a message here. So here, just for the demonstration purpose, I'm gonna say, hi, I am called before termination, and then we're gonna add a pause to our program so that we can see this message. That's it. Now we're gonna use this atexit function and register this on exit function as the termination function. So I'm gonna use if atexit, and we need to pass the function here, so which is on exit, and this atexit function is gonna return a value of 0 if this function has successfully registered this function as the termination function, else it's gonna return a value of non-zero. So we're gonna check that not equal to 0, which is gonna mean that this atexit function has failed to register this function as a termination function. We're gonna say that. So I'm gonna use a put as function, and I'm gonna say fail to register on exit as the termination function. Okay, and also using this atexit function you can register 32 termination functions, and they are called in the order they are specified. Okay, now I'm gonna save this and I'm gonna compile and run this program. So you can see here, hi, I am called before termination. That's because first this main function has registered this on exit function as the termination function, and there is no code, just gonna terminate. At that time it just called this on exit function. That's why it just printed out this hi, I am called before termination. Okay, the next thing that we're gonna see is how to do the normal program termination using this exit function. So to demonstrate that, what we're gonna do is we're gonna register this on exit function as the termination function first. Then we're gonna create a loop. For that we need a counter, and also we're gonna initialize this counter to a value of 0. Okay, the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna create a while loop. So it's gonna be while, and it's gonna be an infinite while loop. And here inside this while loop, what we're gonna do is first we're gonna print out the value of that counter variable. So for that I'm gonna use printf statement, and it's gonna be %d. Let's add a new line, and then it's gonna be counter. Okay, the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna compare the value of this counter variable, and it's gonna be if counter equal to 10, then we're gonna exit this program. So for that purpose, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this exit function. So it's gonna be exit, and as a parameter we're just gonna pass a value of 0, just to indicate that this program has terminated successfully. And also we need to increase the counter value, otherwise it's gonna be an infinite loop forever. So it's gonna be counter plus. So here what we have done is, first we have registered a function called this on exit as the termination function, which will be called for every normal program termination. And then we created a infinite while loop, and when that counter value becomes 10, we are exiting this program. So now what's gonna happen is this function is gonna print the values from let's change this one to 1 to 10, and then it's gonna exit this program. So when this exit is used and a error code is passed, this function is gonna call the termination function registered, which is on exit, and then it's gonna flush and close the files if any files have been opened, and then it's gonna terminate the program. So I'm gonna execute, compile and run this. So you can see here it just printed out the values from 1 to 10, and then it just encounters this exit, counter is equal to 10. At that time this exit is gonna call the termination functions registered, which is on exit, and then it just terminated this program. Now the difference between this exit and this underscore exit, so this underscore exit is gonna terminate the program immediately. So it's not gonna call this termination programs registered or any signal handlers registered in your program, and also it may or may not flush the files opened in the program. So I'm gonna change this one to underscore exit. That's it. And also we're gonna pass a value of 0, just to indicate that this is a normal program termination. So at this time this function is not gonna call this termination program registered, it's just gonna exit. So I don't know whether you guys have seen it or not. Just printed out the values from 1 to 10, and then it just exited. It didn't call the termination program registered. So this is it. One more time I'm gonna run this one. Just that's it. One more time. Yes. So this is it, guys. This is about the atexit, exit and underscore exit function in C. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. If you guys have any doubt, then don't hesitate to put the comment in the video, and like my Facebook page at facebook.com/learninglad, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.